Welcome to the DJ's Daughter podcast. It is I, your hostess with the mostest, Walla Smalls, providing you with interviews, original content, and stories based around the creativity of business and the business of creativity. Our seasons are called volumes, and our episodes are called tracks. Welcome to Volume 2, and stay tuned for the next track. Hello. Welcome back and welcome to the DJ's Daughter podcast. It is I, your hostess with the mostest, Walla Smalls, bringing you track 6 entitled Career and Resources. Now, if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you're listening on any other podcast platform, go ahead and hit that follow button right now. Yes, sir. Hit subscribe and hit follow, and follow the DJ Daughter podcast. Subscribe to the DJ Daughter podcast so you do not miss out on any tracks on the DJ Daughter podcast. Now, back to track 6. Once again, this is track 6 entitled Career and Resources. So last week I was going to drop a different type of track content. It was still in the realm of this a little bit, because I'm gonna drop it next week on y'all. But I was inspired to redo it and do this particular track because of so I had a company conference 3 weeks ago, and then when we came back from the company conference, it was MLK Day, and so that kind of pushes the week back, and so we're kind of like just catching up on emails and everything like that. And so I had some powwows with some peers, with some colleagues. I was even asked to be somebody's mentor, which was very humbling, honestly. And so during all of that, I'm like, you know what? I gotta talk about this. I gotta talk about what it is to have a career. And also, I really, really, really want to provide you all with some great resources. Those are the 2 reasons why I started this podcast. Well, one of the reasons why I started this podcast was to provide people with some resources. I really don't believe in like gatekeeping. All this information is out there, of course, but sometimes people need a little guidance. So I really want to be of help in that type of manner. But also, another reason I started this podcast was because I got tired of like the same perspective on entrepreneurship and on the 9-to-5 space. Like, I just got tired of it. I feel like at the end of the day, it's about having a career. And I didn't hear that word too often, in those conversations of, quit your 9-to-5 and, go be an entrepreneur, right? Number 1, entrepreneurship is not for everybody. And then also number 2, some people like where they work because it's not just a job to them, it's a career. So let's dive into the definition of career, shall we? So career definition, noun. An occupation undertaken for a significant period of a person's life and with opportunities for progress. So with that being said, I think a lot of us have careers in the wrong places. Just kidding. Because some of us been doing the same thing for a long period of our life, okay? And been working very hard at it. And it's not bringing you no type of return on your investment, okay? But I digress. That's for another track, a whole nother one. But all jokes aside, I didn't realize that I was building a career for myself when I started my first blog post. So 2010, it was July 10th, 2010. Wow, I just spit that whole thing out. It was July 10th, 2010. I started my first blog post, and from there, it just transitioned into a media brand that was also a clothing line a little bit. And here I am now, 5-6 years later from the starting date, and now I'm a photographer, videographer. And so the whole time, my career is evolving, but I didn't see it like that. I just saw myself, growing and developing different skill sets that I needed to keep this brand going. Because Yes Movement Media, that's the name of my brand, was the only thing I cared about. Well, not the only thing, but like, it was my baby. It was my first business. It was the first, the first something I had my name on, you know what I'm saying? Like that I could say like, wow, look what I created, And so I held it near and dear to my heart. And I didn't realize like, this was just like the beginning point of me starting something greater than myself, right? And so between 2010 and 2018, I was just creating video content, shooting photography, at the same time doing social media marketing and also creating websites for different clients. And so my majority of my clientele was in Chicago, and I really wanted to move to a bigger city, bigger than where I was living in. And so I moved to Chicago, and I moved to Chicago, 2015? So from 2015 to 2018, 19, I was just doing creative media work, photography, videography, social media marketing, like just freelance work. I had a part-time job during those times, but like it didn't last too long. My main focus was really like just getting this going. And so I was doing my thing, y'all. I was doing my thing. I ain't lying to you. But I learned quickly that, and just like I say in the intro, the creativity of business and the business of creativity, right? The business of creativity had to kick in because I had creativity, right? But I had to be business minded, right? So you have to wear so many different hats. I got to be the administrator. I got to be the person who also understands my finances on the business end, on top of your personal finances, because you're using your personal money to invest into your business, right? That's, just that whole nine, just being somebody who was doing everything in their business to keep their business flowing. And that gets tiring. So I kind of got burnt out. And also, I was just feeling unfulfilled. It started to feel like a job for real. What started off as something that was just natural and fun and allowed me to like truly express myself and grow in different ways became like a job. Like it became like a job. Like, I don't want to edit this video right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to edit today or tomorrow. I really don't even want to work with this particular client. I only picked them up because it was good money. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, all those things started to come into my mind. Like, I don't enjoy this anymore because I love doing it, yeah, but like, I also really got to like pay my bills and make this a living. So that became above the I love doing this and the creativity. It became, you got to pay bills, right? And so I felt a love from it. And then I was like, okay, I need a break from this. And during that time, I found my new place where I work, right? My new place where I work. I just really don't want to tell y'all where I work, so I name it and say all type of things about it. However, I work in real estate, right? And I never would have thought I would have had a career in real estate ever. Like that was never my plight. Like my father, he wasn't a realtor, but he owned different property and all of that, right? And he was a landlord at one point, so that's the only connection I had to it, and that's something that I thought about doing, eventually in my life, like, I'll, buy some real estate and get into it like that, because I knew at that time that's another way for me to build wealth and all that. So I'm like, okay, cool, I'll get into that later. But I wasn't thinking like building a career in real estate, right? So here we are, now going on 4 years. 4 years later, I have a real estate license. I've been promoted every year that I've been there thus far. And here I am in a leadership position with people who are truly being impacted by not just my words, but through my, by my actions and from projects that I work on with other peers, like the whole nine, right? I'm developing myself as a leader that I didn't realize I had these leadership skills until they were pointed out because of my manager and my peers, and just having that peer feedback, like, and then also too, a lot of the jobs that I worked before were like retail and all the other stuff. So it's like nobody's developing you. Nobody's thinking about you in that type of manner. They just want you to come to work and do what they want you to do, right? But now I'm working for, let me not say I'm working for a company. Now I'm working with people who want to see me do great things because they know that the greater I am for myself, not only the greater I will be for, our customers, but honestly, the greater I will be in overall in building my career. You feel me? And so I'm in a space, in a place where people are valuing you as a human being. You feel me? I'm also in a place where I have PTO, right? And so I'm enjoying, and this is me talking about the beginnings of it all, right? I'm enjoying like this 9-to-5 life, because the other life I lived when I worked for somebody was very much sales associate, and that's not a life I liked at all. Ain't nobody care about you. Nobody care if you was sick, not sick. It didn't matter, right? But now I'm in this space, people care about you as a human being and also want to help you develop who you are as a human being. And so it was at this company that I truly understood why it's important, not just what, but why it's important to have a company, why it's important for a company to have values and to stick by them and to show them throughout, not just throughout their business externally, but also internally. You feel me? Working here allowed me to see, like I said earlier, that I have leadership skills, and that low key, I obtained these skills in my entrepreneurship, working in creative media. So once again, this whole time I have built a career in creative media, and that career is what allowed me to get into my initial position at this corporation and become who I am today, right? Not knowing all those skills. I was looking at the position and not the skill sets, right? So you do your resume and it's like, okay, well, fill in what you did. And it's like, oh, I wrote a paper, or, I emailed people, I made some calls. It's like, no, you ain't just make some calls or email some folks or, did some photography. You organized. You feel me? You did administrative work. You conducted active listening skills. You feel me? You have great interpersonal communicational skills. Like all those things you start to really break it down of what it is. And it's like, oh, I can do this here and over here, right? Truly understanding what it means to build a career. It's like, yes, I was working in social media and like in the creative sector of the world, right? But also I could take those skills and work in the real estate sector of the world. Like, these skills are very much transferable. So it had me thinking, like, is my career in creativity, or is it really in communication and servicing people? You know what I'm saying? Like, because is my career really in real estate, or is it really in motivational speaking and influencing people? Like, I just started looking at things differently when I really broke down what it means to have a career, right? And so that goes for my entrepreneurs too. Like, understand what it means to have a career, because your entrepreneurship can also take you to places where you can work for somebody, so to speak, but on a contractual note, right? Where your skills and your expertise in this industry is, we need it here in our company. But you don't want to be an employee, which is fine. You could be a contractor, working for us, working with us, like, still honing in on all of your everything, but you can work for somebody else, with that. And so it's just about perspective and open up your eyes to having more. Because I feel like sometimes even being an entrepreneur can feel like a struggle, right? Because people show you the highlights, but they don't show you the struggle. They don't show you, like I talked about earlier, you taking in your personal funds to invest in your business, and you're not seeing that return right away, right? People aren't telling you about how there are days or even sometimes months when nothing's not coming in. Because when you're an entrepreneur, depending on what you're doing, because everybody likes to show the fast money, right? You got to put that money back into your business, and you also have to make a living, right? And you also have to pay Uncle Sam. So you got to make sure you stay on top of your business for real, because we all know Uncle Sam gonna come get his money, right? And so I'm not trying to make it seem like that's a con of entrepreneurship. I'm just giving the real, because those are things that you don't have to worry about working for somebody. They take out the taxes. All you gotta do is make sure you file your taxes come February, but they take out your taxes. You get PTO, you know what I'm saying? Like, all that jazz. Like, you're taken care of in a certain way versus over here as an entrepreneur, you gotta take care of that all by yourself, right? Which is why people always say, that entrepreneurship is not for everybody, or it's not for you to do it by yourself, or it's not for you to do it but allow someone else to conduct it every day because it was your idea. You can, still get I don't want to say just paid, but you can still benefit from the business growing because it was your idea, and you're adding your contributions in different ways. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just want to provide a bigger scope for people. You feel me? Because a lot of this can be very like, do this or do that. And it's like, no, you can do a little bit of everything. Like, the world is really your oyster, and there's no limitation on how you can go about this. None. Because if you want to stay at your corp, you feel me, your company, your corporation, because you get great paid time off, you get paid great, you get great benefits while you build this business, do that. Because I truly believe in taking a leap of faith, but I believe also in strategic risk. So don't just up and leave your job that's paying you, and helping you keep up your living to go start this passion, because when you go start that passion, you're going to be struggling. And I don't believe in struggling artists anymore. I don't think that's a thing anymore, because there's no such thing anymore to me. Like, it's just not. There's ways to monetize your art, right? And so therefore, there's no need for you to struggle when you can make a plan. You feel me? So I feel like with entrepreneurship, they're always pushing the highlights. And the highlights are very much real. Freedom of your own time. You feel me? You get more of your money to you, like all of that. Yes, all that's very much true. But you have to understand the energy, the time that comes along with that. You feel me? And the type of mindset that you have to have. And sometimes it's flexible as it may look. Sometimes it's not as flexible, depending on who you are, your service, your brand, like all of those things, right? Like, you have to keep that in mind. And so, please, my people, stop downing the 9-to-5ers. Some people have careers that they're in, and they love what they do for a living. They don't look at it as like a job. They look at it as this is my career, and they'll pivot when they need to. Because when you have a career mindset, it allows you not to stay in one, or not to stay loyal to just one company or one position, because you see more outside of yourself, right? And that's what I wish I had early on, a career mindset. Because we all have a career, even in entrepreneurship. You have a career in something, right? Whether you're paying yourself or getting paid for it. Build your career, my peoples. So, remember earlier I talked about development and all that, your job. See, that's the good thing about working for somebody, because they pay for that. Now, when you're an entrepreneur, you got to pay for your development. And you should be paying for your development, okay? Like, put in that time, put that money on it, because sometimes it's free, and it really requires all your time. And sometimes it requires money and time, depending on whatever developments you're looking into, like whether you're going to conferences or whether you're doing workshops, webinars, whatever the case, reading books. Like, as an entrepreneur, you should always be on top of your stuff. You feel me? And when you are working in a corporate setting, even though they're providing some of that stuff for you, you should still always be on top of your stuff, okay, for you. Because it's about elevating you. It's about your career, not just a job or position. So, one of my favorite, well, it's now my favorite, because I just took it last year. So, one of my favorite personality test development things are Clifton Strengths. Now, this you still have to pay for. So, for some of you, your job may give you a different, like, they may give you like the DISC, the DISC. Some your job may, pay for or give you the Briggs, and if they don't, you can go out there and pay for your own. And for my entrepreneurs, you got to pay for this on your own. You feel me? But you may be able to write it off, because it is about, bettering yourself in your business. So you may be able to write it off. I don't know. However, it's called Clifton Strengths. It's a personality test, so to speak. And they, through the test, as you take the test or whatever have you, the results are your 34 strengths. But they really focus on your top 5 strengths. And so with that information comes more detailed information. So each of your strengths has like their own description of what they are, how it applies to you, all of that. But your top 5 have a little bit more deeper breakdown, so you can truly understand those top 5 characteristics and those top 5 skills of yours. And what I love about that is that you can truly see that. Well, I can truly see that in my everyday life, like literally. So if I can remember my top 5 in the order that it goes: futuristic, strategic, positivity, maximizer. I'm missing something. Futuristic, strategic, positivity, maximizer. I'm missing one, obviously. However, these top 5, and well, your full 34, no one person and another person have the same, like 1 through 4. Like no one person, like none. And that's the beauty in it, right? And if there is someone who has your same, like full 1 through 34 strengths, or even 1 through 5, it's like 1 out of, like, I don't know, 6 million or something like that. Like, it's something like that, right? And so this is really like tailored and personalized to who you are, how you go about the world, and how you see things. And I love it. I love it so much, because we use it at work, and it allows us to see who to pair who with who to work well together. So, for example, for me with the Clifton Strengths, I'm an influencer. I'm an activator. That's what it is. Activator. That's what it was. Yes, it was futuristic, activator, strategic, positivity, and maximizer. Those are my top 5 Clifton Strengths. And so knowing that about myself, I know like I have an idea, I like to put it right to work, but I can't execute all the time. And so I need people around me who just execute. You feel me? They may not have the idea, they may not have the strategy to lay it out, but they gonna get it done. And so learning about myself like that and the people around me allowed us to be like, wow, okay, we can work together like this, or I may need a person like that. Like it's so dope, and it's so beneficial, once again, whether you're an entrepreneur or even whether you work for the 9 to 5. I have more. You got the Myers-Briggs. I'm gonna have all these links as well in the description. So once again, if you're listening on YouTube, you can see in the description box. If you're listening on any other podcast platform, you can also see it in the description box, and just click that link. So there's also the Myers-Briggs and the DISC test. So that's DISC. These are all personality tests that just help you dive more into yourself and understand how you do what you do. You know what I'm saying? And the process of different things. And this has been so beneficial. And for all my people out there who have been laid off, you know, you're in transition or trying to find another place to work or whatever the case may be, I also encourage you all to take one of these. The Myers-Briggs is free. I might be pronouncing it completely wrong, but I know it's free. And just having that little bit about you will also kind of help you, will allow you to choose what type of environments you want to work in as well. You know, like all these things come into play. So that's the resources I have for you all on the personal development end. Now, for all my creative peeps, once again, this is for everybody, whether you work in entrepreneur, whether you work in a 9 to 5 space, right? Here are some great resources that you can use at your job. You can use for your content, whatever the case may be. They come in handy. Number 1, Canva. Canva. I cannot stress how much I love Canva. Canva is so freaking awesome. They have a bunch of templates that you can choose from, and you can use it even for work. They have a presentation template as well that you can download. Pop that thing, share your screen on Google Meets or Zoom, and let it do its thing, right? And you can wow. Okay, you can wow your colleagues. Like, oh, where you get this from? This is not our template in our company. Exactly. Fresh templates, right? So Canva is one, and then also, like I said, Canva has plenty of other templates, whether it's IG Reels, Instagram Stories, like the whole 9. So for my entrepreneurs out there who are creating your own marketing templates or marketing content, and you don't have Canva, go to canva.com and sign up right now. They're not paying me for this, y'all. I really appreciate Canva. My second one for creative resource is Fiverr. That's Fiverr, I believe. I'll have it on the screen, or of course I have the link at the bottom. But Fiverr is a great place to not only, I guess you can say, like, I don't want to say submit. What am I talking about? Fiverr is a great place for you to put up your freelance work, and also to get work done by freelancers. So it's an awesome tool, y'all. Like, if you are not the type that are creative and you don't want to create your own marketing material, or you got a project at work that you don't want to, whatever, you can pay somebody a decent price. Like, they got their own price up there, and I know it's inflation. However, it's definitely worth the money. You can get somebody, they'll have, like, what I love about Fiverr is that they have, like, different packages that people can choose from to work with you, or you can choose from to work with somebody. You feel me? Like I said, you can upload your own work on there, your own services, whatever it is that you do, and people can, you can find clientele on there, or you can be somebody's clientele, whatever you need. If you need somebody to be your copywriter, if you're looking for, like I said, a graphic designer for your promo material, or you don't want to do, like, there's Canva, but you don't want to do nothing on Canva, you can hire somebody for that. Like, Fiverr is great for that. And then lastly, iMovie. iMovie is free. Like, I don't know how it works on Androids or whatever the case may be, but iMovie, that's a great place to go edit your video content for the free, and allow you to have a little bit more flexibility, a little bit more styles, stuff like that to choose from, like at least textiles to choose from and things of that nature, and you can have a little bit more fun with your transitions. And I know there's a bunch of apps out there, but the reason why I love iMovie is because once you grasp iMovie, you'll be able to elevate to other editing software and apps, like of course, like Final Cut Pro, but also Adobe Premiere Pro. So Adobe Premiere Pro is something that I use. It's a software that I use often. And when my Adobe Premiere Pro is acting funny for whatever reason, or I need something quick, I'll go to iMovie and get that done. And so these resources for all my creative folks, or even my people in the 9-to-5 sector, like, and you're working on something for work or your own personal, Canva, Fiverr, and iMovie are like my 3 go-tos. On a personal development note, Myers-Briggs, DISC, D-I-S-C, and Clifton Strengths are the 3 go-tos, in my opinion, or at least starting points to learn more about yourself and your personality and how you just see the world. And you can apply that on where you want to work and maybe what business you want to start. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, I'm telling y'all can draw so much from the Clifton Strengths and the Myers-Briggs and the DISC. I've never taken the DISC, but my homegirl, who's also a corporate baddie, she's taking the DISC at work, and I've taken Myers-Briggs just on my own. I've never been provided that at a job, but Clifton Strengths was brought to my attention through my job, and Clifton Strengths have definitely showed my strengths, and I've definitely been applied in different ways. And so I really hope y'all took to this this track. I really wanted to, like I said, A, bring a different perspective, but also B, provide you all with some resources that's so beneficial. And like I said, they are not paying me for this, so I'm not trying to promote anything out of pay. However, that's another reason why I didn't go too deep into each of them, because they're not paying me for this. But y'all gonna know when I start getting my little brand well, not my little, let me not do that to myself. When I start getting my big brand deals, y'all gonna know, but it's always gonna be beneficial towards y'all. I don't ever want to get into business with anybody just because anymore. Like I talked about before, if I would have known and understood what it meant to have a career and really build a career, I wouldn't have just been taking any old client in, whether or not to build my portfolio, right? And so when you know better, you do better. And then also when you know something, you share something with the next person, right? Because each one, teach one. You feel me? So once again, all the resources are going to be in the description down below. And if you're listening on any other podcast platform, Spotify, Apple, Google, the links are going to be in the description. You feel me? So go ahead and click that follow button. Go ahead and click that subscribe button to the DJ's Daughter podcast so you can keep up to date of all the new tracks. You feel me? But this particular track is track 6, entitled Career and Resources. Once again, it's your girl, Walla Smalls, and I'm out.